Hello everyone, welcome back to THM, Rick the Honest Mechanic, and today we're going to be replacing the spark plugs on my 2017 Mercedes-Benz CLA 250 4MATIC. Got that all in there. Before you try and skip forward on this video, I'm just going to let you know there's a lot of steps in here and I wouldn't want you to miss out on some really important ones, so try and follow through. I'm going to do as well as I can, and yes, you can do this at home. So before we go any further, there is one tool that you will have to purchase, unless you already have one. I didn't, and that is a 14mm thin-walled deep socket. This is a 3/8 drive. It's and it also has the rubber or the holder inside so that it doesn't allow the spark plug to drop into the hole. You want one of these because otherwise you can't move on. Okay, so for starters, I've already removed the beauty cover sitting off to the side. Now, questions I do get often is, does the engine have to be hot or cold? I've always done it with the engine warm, so somewhere in between. The engine's been running for a little bit. I mean, I'm talking maybe 5 minutes. You don't want it to be too hot. You're working on it. You don't want to burn yourself. And it is an aluminum block, so you want it to be a little bit relaxed so that those plugs kind of come out nice and easy. One thing we're going to do, for starters, we're going to remove the intake going into the turbo here. So there's a couple of screws on these mechanical clamps, one on this end, one at the other end, and there's going to be some, as you can see, some plumbing in this form of like vacuum and pressure lines for activating certain parts of the turbo and your other parts. So got to be a little bit careful with these. They are flexible, but if your engine is cold, or as you've been working, right now it's November, so for us, it's a little bit cooler outside, so that's why I let the engine run a little bit. So we're going to slowly disconnect all of this. There's a whole bunch of stuff here, so be very careful as for the connectors as well. And you want to make sure that it's all undone before you move on. So there is a lot involved into removing the intake, and I wanted to go through it real quick because in case you forget something, you could damage it. So I ended up undoing the hose right from here, and that undoes from this hose. Obviously this hose over here, nice and simple, this can get out of the way. Now if we continue moving on this way, underneath here there's a harness. You just remove the clip here and up here. Then we've got a connector here. This one was a little tricky because there's a little tab on the back. I got to pull the tab, and then under here you've got to put either your nail or your screwdriver to lift up on that little tab. Undo that one. Then you're going to undo this hose. I wasn't very gentle with it. I ended up cracking it, so might be something I have to purchase later or repair. Then you got this hose here. This one's kind of cool. If you squeeze it hard enough, it's actually going to hold itself open. Makes it nice and easy. And then, of course, like I said earlier, the two hose clamps at each end. Now, all you have to do is nice and slowly kind of work it out without removing the harness. I know it can be done because I had to replace this before. This is part of your PCV system. So I'm going to struggle with that right now. Okay, so a couple of things I forgot to mention. You do need to undo the 4 screws on the airbox so that can help you maneuver it a little bit better. You don't have to disconnect the whole thing. That's something else I forgot to mention. But you will have to undo this one right over here. That sits right on there. And this is going to give you enough room to do what you need to do. If you wanted to remove the whole thing, you can probably cut this off and then allow this hose to come loose, and then you can wiggle your way around this harness. But I'm not going to do that because this is your spark plug coils, and underneath there is going to be your spark plugs. So I'll be able to remove those. I can move this around a little bit wherever I need to do in order to get there. So we're going to start over here and then see what the spark plug looks like, and then we're going to get into some pretty important details as to what we do when we do install the spark plug. So before going any further, it's really important that you make sure any sand, debris, whatever it is underneath the engine here, on top of the engine, is clear. So I like to use a blowgun, and I like to make sure that that whole area that you're going to work with, and the round for that matter, is nice and clean. because you don't want any sand or anything falling into your engine after you've removed the plugs. Now that that area is all clean, we can remove the coil pack with a T30, and we are going to have to undo the connection, but we have a little bit of play, so we can probably undo it when it's a little bit further up so we have access to the plug or connector. So just crack those loose. So try not to drop anything down below Plinko style, because then you're going to be searching forever, because there's a lot of nooks and crannies on this engine. So take your time, get yourself a magnetic bowl so you can put all the hardware and your tools. Nice and gently, we're going to pull the coil right up. Might be a little bit stuck. And we're slowly winning here. There it is. Now we can undo the connector. So same thing as the other one. We have a little clip on the back, and I can't do it with my finger, so let me get my screwdriver. I'm just going to unclip that, nice and gentle. There it is, and that should allow us to unclip the coil from the connector. I mean, in reality, you don't have to remove it, but just for sake of showing you guys, you just got to pull up on the tab here from the back and then slide the connector loose. Now if you are going to remove them, if you guys have watched my channel in the past, you know how I love dielectric grease, so I'm going to probably put a little bit of dielectric grease on all these connectors so that way they don't corrode in the future. But that's how that's done. Make sure you put this on a safe place, because again, you don't want that to fall or break, because I'm sure that these are not cheap. And again, there'll be a little bit of dielectric grease going in where the spark plug sits, so that way there, next time I have to do these, it'll be nice and easy. And right down here is our spark plug. There's the spark plug. So again, I'm going to use my my blowgun. I'm going to give that a little bit of air, make sure that if anything fell in there, it's going to make its way out so that I can get my spark plug wrench on there nice and good, and nothing is going to fall into the cylinder. So with that special socket, we're going to go ahead and crack that spark plug loose and then replace it with a new one. Now it does have a rubber, and being that it's a brand new plug, you might have to work it in there. You want to make sure it's all the way on there, because you don't want to strip nothing. I think we're good. Oh yeah, she's tight. There it goes. And unfortunately, that spark plug wrench, or socket, is a must for this job, because I tried a regular socket every which way. It's just not quite long enough, and you can't get in there to do this job. So you're gonna have to go buy one. I'll put a link down in the description. I bought this one locally, as I probably mentioned before, but definitely a lifesaver in this case. And the nice part about it is it holds the plug. So this is the old one. It's actually looking pretty nice, and it's an original Mercedes-Benz plug. So it's been a while since I've done it. Probably would have bought the plugs, and this is my trial. As you can see, I was starting to round it off. This would have been with the regular 14mm deep socket. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get some anti-seizing compound. We're going to put a little bit to the threads of the new plug, and just to verify, yes, they are in fact the same. And then a little bit here, Then we'll move on to trick number 2. I've got my corrosion-free stuff here, my little paste. Now I can't stress this enough. It does not take a lot, and you do not want to touch that electrode. I'm actually going to stay far enough away from it, and I'm going to concentrate just over here. Make my way around. And I'm going to stay away from the tip. That's plenty to do that spark plug. Now let's go and talk about the other tip that we really need to talk about, and how it's going to make your life a little bit easier putting this plug in to index it. So what is indexing and why is it important? Because you heard me say that earlier, you have to index the spark plugs. Well, what that means is on a direct injection motor, the spark plug has to have the electrode open to the injector. So imagine you're in the cylinder, the injector's here, and it's firing, it's atomizing the mist. Well, if you had the flat part of that electrode towards the back side of that, well, it has to take, it's going to take longer for the flame to ignite everything, or the spark plug to ignite the flame and cause that flame propagation to push the cylinder back down. So in order to visualize it a little bit better, I did make a little drawing here to try and illustrate it. So I know I'm not the best at drawing stuff, but hopefully you guys understand. Here's your spark plug, you get your injector, and there's your electrode right here. And as you can tell, it's open, so now that mist will easily make its way into that gap, where when that spark ignites it, it's going to do a very good job at pushing that cylinder down with that pressure, and there's not going to be any hot spots, because that's what could happen. If you have it facing the other way, it could cause hot spots in that cylinder, cause knock, all sorts of bad things, detonation perhaps. You don't want any of that. So that is why we're going to index every one of these plugs in the cylinders. Well, how are we going to do that? Because we can't see inside there. Well, as you can see, what I've done is I've taped the whole extension, including the socket, and I'm going to make sure that I place my spark plug somewhere in that tape area, and with a marker, I'm going to mark that all the way down within a little bit. I mean, your Mercedes allows approximately 90 degrees of variation, which means that if your electrode is 90 degrees away, as long as it's not facing backwards, I guess it's okay. I'm going to try and make sure that it stays to the center as close as possible. What happens if you can't get that? Well, you do have an option, and that is to stack up a little bit more washers on yours, little bit by little bit. I don't think it happens very often, because I think most of these plugs, as long as you torque them to the manufacturer's specs, they work every time. But in order to make sure, like I said, I'm going to take a nice little paint marker or just a regular marker all the way up to the plug, torque it down, make sure I'm facing the right way. Let's do that right now. So here's my mark. That mark is telling me that it's open. It doesn't matter how you want to do it. You could have it so that it shows that that's where the electrode is, the back side of it. But I'm going to do it this way. It's secured onto my socket, so I don't drop it in there, because you never want to gap a iridium spark plug. So the gap is already set from the factory, and if you drop it in the hole, well, where's it going to hit? It's going to hit right on top of it, and it's going to close that gap. So that's why it's important buying a proper socket. So nice and slow, we're going to guide that down in there. And then we're going to, well, tighten her down and see where we end up. Okay, so according to the box on the spark plug, is it only needs 1/16. Where did I put the box? I want to show you guys. So I'm not sure if you guys will see that. I might have to zoom in, but it's 1/16 to 1/12, so it does not need a lot of torque. So basically, once it's seated, you just kind of go click, and that should do the torque that you need. So right now, I'm going to see where I'm at. Oh, wrong way. There we go. And unfortunately, I'm not happy with that because I'm going to show you, I'm actually facing the back, which is the worst possible scenario. So as you can see here, my line is facing the back. This is my injector right there. So I want that line to be facing the injector. So now I got to pull the plug and I got to add myself a quick little washer. So here I have a kit of copper washers, and I'm pretty sure, I don't want this to fall. Sorry. Here's my kit of copper washers, and I'm pretty sure if I try and do this with one hand, this size is the one. And again, I don't want to make any of this stuff roll. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So that's going to sit down right here. And I'm going to retorque that, and hopefully, at the very least, I am not facing this way, because that's what it was. I was totally backwards. So if I can be here, or actually even just there, I'd be more happy. So let's try that again. And there you go. So with the copper washer installed, I am within the 90. I'm actually closer to probably 80 degrees. So here's my injector. And here's my line. I'm doing okay. So now, I'm happy with that. So that is the procedure for one plug. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the coil back on that plug. I'm going to put a little bit of dielectric grease on the connector, and I'm going to move on to the next one. But I might have to do the whole washer thing on a few other plugs. I wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I'm sure some of you are probably worried that, hey, you're adding a washer, isn't that going to make any effect, you know, like onto the cylinder and the compression, because all that other stuff. I think it's going to be so minimal that you're not going to notice it. If you were stacking a ½ inch of washers underneath that plug, absolutely, but that is a very thin washer, and I would rather make sure that my electrode is facing the injector rather than losing, a 100th of a PSI on compression. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Just a quick little video to show you guys that yes, you can do these types of repairs at home without, you know, bringing it into a special dealer. The only thing you have to buy, like I said, is going to be that plug socket, because if you don't buy it, you're not going to get the plug out. Unfortunately, they're just kind of special because the ceramic on those plugs is very long. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Maybe share the video with someone else who has this type of vehicle who might want to do the same procedure. And I will catch you all next time. So thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys.